It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It's been
a year.
Yeah.
It has been
full,
a year, right?
solid year, yeah.
I think the last time we recorded was February or January last year.
Yeah, something like this. Yeah, I think so. So it's been a trying year for everybody, I'm sure, us included. With Emily working in wine and restaurants and myself in tattooing, two industries particularly hard hit by the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I think we wanted to talk today a little bit about what we did during lockdown. What we're hoping is that by the time this airs, you are not in lockdown anymore, or at least we're all emerging out of our little bunkers into the spring. So this year we will run the podcast over the summer rather than the autumn.
Yes. So we're going to be releasing episodes every 3 weeks.
Because we got a lot of other stuff to sort out with post-corona.
Yeah.
I think like everyone has so much extra effort to put into now their businesses and whatever else, but we want to bring a little fun still and a little joy.
So we both bought a bottle of wine each today of one of the wines that we've been drinking a lot of.
Right.
Or more of than other
More
wines.
of. Ludwig is joining, perhaps. Come here. You want to say hi? Hello. He may or may not pop his head up, so if he barks, don't be afraid. So yeah, we each brought a wine that was...
It's quite funny because they're kind of similar coloured as well, right?
They are, yeah.
Is yours a rosé or a red?
I think mine's just a straight up red, but it's a really juicy red.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I have to say I did choose mine with an element of shameless self-promotion on my part, since I did do the label.
And well, I import this wine, so maybe it's
the self-promotion episode. Yeah. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, especially after a year of hardship and hustling extra hard to make sure that everything stays on track. I think it's good to show what we also do.
Yeah. And I guess we haven't really touched base on much about what we're doing and what's up with us actually from the first episode, which feels like a very long time.
Feels like a lifetime ago now.
A
different world, yeah. Totally. So let's talk about what each of us, maybe when the pandemic hit, we were both at really, interesting different points. You've just gotten the keys to your restaurant
where we're sitting today, Aura.
Yeah. Beautiful space, which this season, I think most of our episodes, if not all, will come from here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a weird start because we purchased the restaurant on the 11th of March, and then I remember that dreaded Friday. I think it was Friday the 13th, right?
Because we ran into each other also.
Yeah. Was that on Friday the 13th?
I think so, yeah.
Or it might have been Thursday the 12th I saw you.
Something like that, yeah. Maybe it was. Because it was our last dinner out before they announced lockdown.
It was mad. Yeah, that was mine second to last night out because I remember they announced on the Friday we're closing the bars on the Tuesday.
Right.
And then on the Saturday they closed the bars early anyway, and it was just like, what the hell's going on? I remember sitting in this restaurant thinking, what have we done? What have we done? Are we ever going to be able to open? Because it had this kind of, I don't want to speak in hyperbole, but it did have this kind of apocalyptic feel at the time. Just like, it was very bad weather at the time as well.
And also there'd been like some other political things going on that were unusual, assassinations in foreign countries.
Yes.
So there was this sort of like strangeness about when the pandemic first hit.
Yeah, there was a lot of panic and a lot of uncertainty. So we managed to open in June. So that was actually quite good. And we had a solid 5 months of being open. And it was really busy. So we've been now into month 4 of lockdown here in Germany, which is just insane. And
we've all adapted. We talked about it last week, how we've all sort of like, this is my life now, We've just sort of, I think that's the amazing thing about people that work in gastro or that work in creative fields. There's that sort of like, the show must go on, That sort of, everyone just gets so creative and figures out how to make it work, and the hustle continues.
Yes. So we hope that we can open again sometime soon, and I know that you're in the same boat as well.
So same thing. Tattooing, of course, being very non-essential. We get shut down, because we obviously can't do our jobs without being in close contact with other people. So we're sort of in this, we're usually opened or closed around the same time as restaurants.
Which is mad, like, I still don't understand that, because why can, like, when you think about hairdresser.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing. Like, I think there's like this balance of like governments opening things not just about health and safety, but also for morale.
Yeah, okay.
And I think like hairdressers are one of those things that when people feel good, they act better. You know, that it just takes a little bit of misery.
Yeah.
Like in Germany, bookshops and florists also being able to remain open.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, with tattooing, of course, I've had to, you know, in the last few years, we've talked about it before, like doing t-shirts and posters for importers and winemakers and such. So I got to do 2 of my first ever wine labels, which was really exciting last year. So I did one for Mochi in Vienna, a great restaurant, and Trummer wines. And then this one, which was a collaboration with Noita in Finland, and More Natural Wine, an online selling platform here in Berlin, that also did well because we're all at home. So I think like it kind of already, this label for me shows a little bit of sort of like the adaptability of things, not only for myself, but also seeing people around me adapt and move in different directions.
Yes. Yeah. Should we try it? Or should we try mine?
Let's try yours first.
Yeah,
solely based on colour.
Yes, it is. And I know I hate this because we've talked about this before, but people commenting on wine colours. But when there's this colour wine, I feel so compelled to be like, it's a beautiful colour.
It's just pretty. It's also okay that we, you know, it's something that I mean, this colour is also really pretty, kind of magenta colour. So it's like, we take things in with all of our senses, including our eyes.
It's true. So what we've got here, have you tried this before?
I haven't, I don't think so.
Surprised, actually. I haven't been doing a very good job, have I? So
I haven't been drinking that much, actually. Just this one, I got paid with I got a lot of wine out of this, so I've been drinking a lot of it. It's really yummy.
So I'm pouring now the 2019 Jeudi 15 Rosato from Vino. So it's a wine from Etna. It's the colour of like a Jura Plusar, so this has got Emily Harmon written all over it in more ways
than one.
It's like
blood orange colour,
yeah.
Almost like.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, so Vino are the winery was set up in 2010 by Anna Martins, Vino and who is Australian, and her husband who's French, Eric Pinari, who set up the first wine bar, like natural wine bar in London, Nick Terroirs. He was behind Braun, behind Soif.
Wow, amazing.
And has an import business called Le Cave de Pren that are also responsible for the Real Wine Fair.
Right.
So somebody that's been in the natural wine scene and world for a very long time. So him and his wife Anna's a winemaker.
Cool.
She'd been working in a number of wineries in Italy and also in Australia. They met and then they set up the winery with the help of Salvo Fotti.
Okay.
Makes the Evinieri wines, you know them.
Maybe.
And maybe.
The pandemic
Remember
has
the
melted my
Ante?
brain,
Remember the Ante Etna wine?
Oh yes.
Custodi he was involved with, but anyway, so Salvo helped with planting some new vineyards for them, but they also purchased some old vineyards. So this is a blend of 2 vineyards. One is called Tatarachi, which is their highest vineyard at 1,000 metres, or one of their highest vineyards. The vines are 70 years old. That makes up the majority of this wine, and the rest is from another vineyard of vines that are 110 years of age. It's predominantly Norella Mascalese, which for me is kind of the Nebbiolo of the south, somewhere between Pinot and Nebbiolo. So it's got this lovely aromatic profile,
sort of like
truffly, but then
there's
smoky.
there's something else that's sort of like
There's an earthiness
like,
always in the wine.
I want to say pharmacy-like, but there's
Like
medicine
botanical,
cabinet.
yeah, I think so too. And it's all whole bunch, and it's made in Georgian Quevri, 1,500 litres. And they work completely biodynamically in the vines.
It's actually much lighter on the palate than the smell would have you believe.
Yeah.
I expected it to be more tannic, but actually it's not as tannic. It almost has like it does have a little like blood quality to it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I think so too.
Like a little like iron and.
Yeah, so
Super
it's all
interesting.
volcanic soil, and it's
There's something
Bush
some
vine.
sort of meaty and umami about it.
and earthy.
Yeah.
And I like it because it's kind of, you've got sort of citrusy, but then it goes into fruity, and then it's really kind of moorish.
No, because I was trying when we were smelling, I was thinking, is it just the colour throwing me in the direction of like things like orange peel or citrus peel? But I think it does have
I think it's in there, and I think you're right, there's also this kind of a little bit of herbaceous edge to it too. And when you drink this wine, or when I drink this wine, I find that you sort of discover more things as the bottle goes on, and it's just kind of, this is kind of one of those bottles, if you put it on the table, everybody really drinks it quite quickly as well.
Yeah, because it's easy. Actually, it's much easier than I
Salty almost.
thought it would be, yeah. What's the percentage on this?
It's 13 and a half, I think.
Right, so.
I mean, 11 and a half, sorry.
Okay.
Jeez, yeah. A lot lighter.
A lot lighter.
Yeah.
It's just like, how fast should I be drinking it? It's like, if it's 14%, maybe I have to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah. Don't shot anything over 14%. But yeah, and I love the winery. So not big, 6 hectares in total, so quite small. All biodynamic practices in the vineyard. They've even planted some ungrafted vines, and then very, I would say sort of the definition of natural wine. So they're unfiltered, unfined, nothing added, low to almost no sulfur in many of the wines. So
I could see myself just drinking this with some snacks.
Yeah. Do you know what I think? Like scrambled eggs and salmon for breakfast.
I mean, I don't eat salmon for breakfast, but I can 100% see that.
I was talking
because
to
it
someone
has
else
that
about
umami.
Fish for breakfast. Not every there's.
I just not
really black and white.
Yeah, I don't really like salmon so much. I find it too
kippers,
fatty.
mackerel.
Yeah,
mackerel's also
my
fatty.
dad loves that stuff. Yeah. So does exactly. So does Luke. But I can totally see that with the eggs also, because there is such an umami quality to this that it would like. Exactly. That's Ludwig. Giving his 2 cents. Ludwig. He's like, that's right. Yeah. Give me some.
But yeah, so I've been drinking a lot of their wines. They also make a wine called Palmento Rosso, which is so funny because I was going to bring that. It would have been really funny.
It would have been like the battle of the juicy roses.
Exactly. Yeah, battle of the light crunchy reds, and it's coming back now.
It's back.
But yeah.
You want to come say hi?
So,
yeah,
I mean, that's the thing, lockdown. I know there's a lot of memes floating about the internet as well about what's happening during lockdown and what are people drinking. December was definitely like a lot of alcohol.
It's weird because for us, like the last lockdown, I think the first lockdown, I think it took us 3 weeks before we even had a drop to drink. We were just in like, maybe we just were not in that. It's like we weren't drinking to get over anything, but we also didn't feel like celebrating anything. So it just sort of became this like non-period. And then Lucas discovered, I mean, we love Negronis, and then we might have gone hog wild on the Negronis. And I think we went through like 2 bottles of Formula Antico, 2 bottles of everything.
Formula.
Formula. We went through 2 of everything basically in that lockdown. We had some pretty...
The 6-week lockdown.
Yeah, the short lockdown. We drink a lot of Negronis. Lucas makes them, like, for us, they're like, but we love that.
I was quite enjoying your post during that first lockdown of like you were like having Baileys in your hot chocolate.
Oh yeah,
you were
first thing in the morning.
Like, this was just like mixtures with everything.
That was so good.
Been in Germany for some time.
Also, it was like, because we did so much gardening actually during the first lockdown, and I'm really looking forward to spring now for the same reasons. Because I mean, we managed to get like 4 kilos of tomatoes from our balcony. 15 kohlrabis that are now being pickled. We pickled some baby carrots. We had yellow runner beans, 5 types of wild strawberries. Like, we just went nuts with the...
Yes.
What else did we have? Lettuce. We had 2 types of lettuce. Yeah, so it was great fun. Trying to... Just focusing my energy into my house plants and then the outdoor plants. And drinking Negronis in the sun.
It's pretty nice, isn't it?
Yeah. So this past
lockdown, getting paid and
so this past lockdown's been very different, I think, because I think with the lead up to Christmas, and like that's been so weird because for everybody, especially for gastronomy and for tattooing, our busy season is the autumn. Like for us, well, for me especially, normally my busy season is September to February.
Yeah.
So basically, my whole busy season, I've been busy doing other things.
That's the one thing that I think was a bit of a shame with how it's handled over here, being told that it would only be a month-long lockdown, so everybody put so much work in November to be open in December, to then be told, oh, it'll be a week before Christmas, and then like 2 weeks before Christmas telling you that you're not able to open. So it was like, that, I mean, if we, you know, this is the thing, in
It's
some
again
ways
that
I wish they
balance.
would give
Yeah.
us just like, rather than we'll tell you in 2 weeks, that you're constantly in this sort of, you're treading water
Yes.
the whole time.
Exactly.
And in some cases you feel like your head's not
Making it above.
Yeah, because you don't know if you've got the financial security
totally.
to do it either.
And I think that was part of their plan, was to tell people incrementally, because then they felt like people wouldn't panic. But I think what they didn't realise is that actually this
Wears
treading
people down
it does
more.
wear people down.
Also for a business, because you're
Yeah,
like, I don't
totally.
know, I mean, it's been great at how flexible and adaptable you've been, but like we haven't been able
Yeah,
to
but
be as flexible, and it's been like, because there's
But
always
I'm
the
lucky
question,
there
should
too.
we invest in this?
Yeah.
You've got a skill set that allows you to be able to.
But this is the thing though, not every tattooer has been able to do this, because these were also avenues that I'd already been planting seeds for the last few years. You know, this is basically 2 or 3 years worth of work of me heading towards this direction, that then was like that moment of opportunity when, okay, I can't do this, then I have to do something else. But I think not every tattooer was in that position, because not every one of them has contacts to be able to do corporate illustration work or illustration work on the side, or, you know, even know where to begin.
Imagine if you were a tattooer in a studio where you didn't have a social media presence as well.
Exactly, that's something else. Like, I have to rely on social media, which has been really frustrating, I think, for everybody, with all the new algorithms and reels and blah blah blah, and like how much focus we have to put on social media now.
Yes.
As wine merchants, sellers, restaurants, tattooers, creatives, you know, they hold a lot of the cards for us. And
in your case, you also had somebody clone your social media
Yeah, exactly.
account. So if anybody does come across Gwen Douglas _ that is not Gwen.
no, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know, the platforms that we rely on so heavily also don't always work for us. You know, they still haven't taken down that account, which is now...
It's madness,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's literally identical. Like,
But they've just switched, that's the thing, they switched now to different accounts, and now they've cloned an account in Spain, they're just moving from small business to small business, and unfortunately, even our social media outlets or platforms are geared towards making money, they're all monetized. So
I mean, it's quite interesting now during the pandemic, having just that little bit more time and space around yourself in some regards. In others not, because obviously like you're in kind of like, I know I'm with work in some ways in a reactive rather than proactive state, where it's like, I just need to put out the fire in the house.
Yeah.
I can't install the fire alarms right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And so that's sort of going on, but then in some ways, like there is this kind of, with a little bit more spare time of not having to be here every single night, for example, just sort of looking at how this is impacting everybody, and who's profiting and who isn't, and who's
there's a big
struggling.
imbalance between like, you know, I think there's like a difference between like being adaptable and you know, I don't know how many people are thriving, let's say. There's a lot of survival going on. I know for myself, I'm not thriving by any means. Like, I'm surviving and I'm managing to like...
I know very few small businesses that are thriving.
No, exactly.
At least in our sectors.
Right. You know, I think like that's the thing, like we can get by, but that doesn't set us up for the future. That's why I think like it's super important that our governments actually invest in small businesses. You know, it's great to bail out the big guys because obviously they create a lot of jobs, but people have to remember that arts and culture, even, you know, we've been amazingly lucky even to think, you know, one of those things where you have to count your blessings on even the tiniest things, because restaurants have been able to at least do takeaway. What about all those performers that have no... It's really hard. I mean, you know this because you also teach yoga, that it's like people moving to online platforms. It doesn't work for everyone. You know, drag queens, ballet dancers.
It's exhausting to be online as well all the time. Like
it's
just
draining.
even as a consumer, like seeking out these forms of entertainment. I know that by having half a day on Zoom, I feel like I've done a 14-hour shift in a restaurant. Just in terms of how mentally tired I feel just from staring at the screen all the time.
So I think like I'm so excited for there to be like just some mingling. I'm not even a mingler. Like, I like being by myself. So like if I'm looking forward to it, I'm sure
everybody's looking
all of
forward
the
to
extroverts in the world are like desperate.
I think no, just to be able to have dinner parties.
Yeah, I just want to like see my friends and
or be in a restaurant,
have a chat. Yeah, I don't even need it. I mean, I feel bad because of course Berlin is the club scene is such a big part of what makes this city great. And unfortunately, we're at risk of losing all of that right now.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that have considered moving from here because they're just... I think it's been over a year and everything that gives them joy in the city doesn't exist right now. So it's also like... And I you know, of course, at first it seems like it's a bit impulsive, but actually, is it? Because we don't know how long we're going to be in this situation for, and it's not, you know, it's not a rehearsal.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like, you know, there's so much of this. We've talked about it before. That there's this feeling of pause. You know, I know a lot of tattooers are sort of on pause. Everyone's just sort of waiting, but that unfortunately, life doesn't wait. You know, things are happening. People fall in love. People have children. People's, you know, jobs situation changes. Things are happening, and we can't just wait. So, I'm at least happy to be in an industry and connected. You know, my partner's also chef. To be part of 2 avenues that are ultra creative, full of exceptional people who are quick and ready to, you know, go off in a new direction.
Do you know what has been interesting about this time is conscious decision making, being conscious about how I spend my money, where I spend my money, who I align myself with, who, like, when I think about this, like, I think now more than ever these decisions and the way in which we place ourselves in the world is more important than ever. So every single choice I make, if I'm buying something, if I'm hungry, I'm not supporting chains, for example, because I know that the supermarkets are making more money than they ever have.
Yes, agreed.
And that's not going to help this situation for
Agreed.
people. So I know you guys have been doing this, being on restaurant packages and recommending and promoting other people's businesses.
Yes, and Luki trying also to, you know, because it's a thing, you know, when the money is moving, it has to move through us. It's it's like I'm being supported by my clients who buy merchandise and buy whatever, and companies that pay me to do things. So then I feel my duty to share that, you know, do what little that I can to buy from small local places or promote them. That's the thing. You don't have to have money to promote, to make a post about your favorite restaurant, you know. Everyone's financial situations are different, but it's like just those little things, like amplifying on social media or just telling your mates and making conscious choices to make sure you're buying local and supporting the places you love so that they exist and remain in place for when this is all done with.
If this is ever done with.
Which is actually interesting because we just talked about it when we were talking about this episode in lockdown, that I was reading an article yesterday about this, you know, it's like speculative wine, people that buy the really expensive stuff. But that actually the trickle down is that there might be a real positive impact for small local wineries and producers because people are more conscious now about where they're buying, and that there might be this push towards buying more local and more and supporting what grows around you. So it could have a great positive impact in the future if we make these choices.
I mean, I agree, and I think that's the only thing that I think I'm trying to encourage to do. And I've noticed that my thinking has started to shift a little bit, and I've been trying to do a little bit more work with educating myself on government policy, on agriculture and things like that, because it's important for me now to find for the next step.
Right.
Like, how can I be more of an activist in my industry?
Right.
And actually the first step is educating myself.
Yeah, right.
To see what structures are in place, because you can't change anything unless you know exactly what you're looking at and what you're dealing with. So I think now's quite a good time for sort of doing that work and think about things that way. But yeah, just holding on for dear life whilst hoping that
weathering the storm, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm hoping, that because this, for us on this hemisphere, that we've been, you know, in winter hibernation. I'm hoping that, of course, as the weather changes in all our moods, and that there's a hopefulness that comes hopefully with the spring and summer.
I mean, the weather's going to make us feel a bit better for sure. I mean, it's been great. Like, whilst we're recording this now, Berlin's completely white and covered with snow, and
I'm trying to live my best daffodil fantasy right now.
I know, I love it. It's like being on holiday with you right now. I feel like we should be in Cuba drinking some rum or something, and you should be dancing.
Just getting to wear anything other than sweatpants, because I did show up today wearing a turtleneck and sweatpants and snow boots. So this is a little bit of a change.
I know. I'm the same with, you're right, leggings. I mean, I'm wearing leggings more than anything.
Oh, like,
2 pairs on underneath these jeans, actually.
Sometimes I put jeans on and it's like, I'm actually just not used to this feeling of constriction, so I think I'll just wear
a
moo-moo, yeah.
Moo-moo.
Just put like a...
What's moo-moo? That
like
sounds
a caftan.
Okay, I was going to say that.
I just put a caftan on and like swan around the flat in a giant oversized, basically, pillowcase.
That sounds great,
It's
isn't
amazing. I'm not going to be used to wearing clothes anymore. That's going to be like the biggest hardship. I mean, there's many.
Maybe
not the biggest one. You know, it's
the
like
biggest hardship for me has been that I can't wear all. I now no longer enjoy the clothes I have.
you know, small pleasures. Once a week, I put on some outfits. I dress up. I run around the flat, and I dream about all the restaurants I might sit in or parties I might go to. Sometimes it's like nice to be reminded of like things you once enjoyed, because of course everything will come back. Right now we're focused on like obviously not buying clothes. I don't have this kind of money to be doing this, and we're not, you know, I see maybe 1 or 2 people a week, so it's not really sweatpants or the uniform of the day.
Sweatpants are my uniform. It's funny, isn't it? I was just thinking when you were saying that about imagining being in a restaurant. My friend Zoe actually said, because so where I live, there's my flat, there's another friend's flat, Andy, and there's another friend's flat, Zoe. We kind of have a situation. It's very similar to Friends, like a series
it's
of
like
Friends.
our house in Melrose Place, I call it. Yeah.
So it's like opposite the hallway is Andy, and then I can see into Zoe's apartment just across the Hoff. So it's kind of like we're like Monica and Chandler's flats, and then there's like Ross's flat opposite. So it's quite funny. And she said to me, because you're allowed to still mingle with one other person from a household, she's like, maybe we could all take turns with like creating a restaurant setting. Like she's like, I'll do it on one night, and then you can come to mine, and I'll be a waiter, and I'll serve you wine and food, and you can pretend you're in a restaurant, and then next time you can like have me,
and then,
and I was like, we could do that, or we could just cook and eat dinner together.
Like everyone just sits in the hallway at their front door. You stick a TV in the hallway.
You get Andy from his apartment.
I mean, because we've the same like at our flat, where the neighbour downstairs, you know, where she's been in lockdown since last March. She hasn't, you know, she's been working from home office with a small child, and like, you know, it's
tough.
Yeah, so it's actually, we've definitely gotten closer with our neighbours. You know, also, you know, I have the keys of the one, and like take care of the plants when she was away, and then the little one downstairs, and I go for walks with the other neighbour. We social distance walk, because otherwise, some people live alone, and it's nice to get to know the people you live around.
You're right, that totally comes back to this local circle again.
Yes.
This was the first year, mainly because I couldn't go anywhere else, but I did get away for some weddings and different things, but compared to the year before, I was travelling like 70 times a year, you know, being sort of stationary in one place, I really found that I was like, am I getting old? I'm popping over to people's places for cups of tea. I never did this before. And you have like this kind of really, it like feels like more of a suburban life in the city in a way, because you're doing these very kind of simple things, going for walks, playing board games, having cups of tea.
I love it.
Yeah, like I feel very connected to everybody here on another level than I did before.
Which actually, like, one of the things I really loved was like all the Zoom calls and stuff, because suddenly I was having cocktails with friends in other countries that I don't know why we didn't do this before, to be honest. Like, had some great times with friends in Australia.
The reason we didn't do it before was because they and you could be in front of real people.
Right. Because also, like, having cocktails with Australians, it felt very inappropriate to be having breakfast Negronis at 10 in the morning while they were smashing back beers in Australia. But, you know, 3 Negronis, a couple bottles of wine later, and a full costume party that's spanned like Vienna, Berlin, Melbourne, Sydney. We're all dressed up like the members of Tiger King. It was great fun. You know, like, so like lots of weird stuff went down that you never thought you would do. And like, you know, reconnecting with some of my Canadian friends that we now regularly meet online for a drink. Mm-hmm. Or one of my close friends in the Netherlands that now it's like, you know, this week we wanted to treat ourselves, so it's like we each pulled out a bottle of Burgundy and sat and had a nice chat, you know, and lit some candles and had a...
Yeah, it's kind of making the occasion and making the ordinary extraordinary in some way. Like just being a bit more creative about how can we just give this a little bit more zhuzh.
And I kind of feel like I hope we could hang on to that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I think like there are lots of things that we learnt about ourselves and about everything else that I hope continues on. Now that we've done this glass.
Oh yeah, let's try yours. I poured myself a second. It was funny when I was recording the Beaujolais episode with Arlene as well, because when it was coming on to the next wine, she was like, hang on a second. Ooh. And I said, oh my god, I was like, it's literally like you're doing what Gwen does.
Like, smash it back on. Because, you know, in the past we've recorded on like Friday nights where I've like had a long week, and then I'm really like thirsty for it.
Yes. Now we're actually being more moderate because it's a Monday morning.
Because it's Monday morning.
I've only had 2 glasses so far.
I mean, it's not only something I can do at all in the morning if I have to work, so I'm very happy about this.
What has been interesting about lockdown is the increase in e-commerce and how how many sort of more exciting wine concepts are coming up online.
Totally.
How many more people are craving, going on to what you said about this, like making a little bit more of occasion about things, sort of making more of an effort to do things at home. Like that's definitely, we're seeing that as well in the buying patterns of what people are doing in their homes as well. So ordering mixed cases of wines from better websites, ordering these dinner packages and kind of, people are really seeking that. So it's definitely a time where I think people have the opportunity to do some interesting home delivery and kind of interactive experiences for people at home.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I think there's also suddenly there are wines that need to be sold that don't have places to be sold. So I think it's also great for winemakers to be able to connect with online platforms, or that restaurants can start doing sort of online shops. Like I know Noveau, I think they also do like a sort of.
I had the menu once.
But not just the menu, but they've made an online shopping platform where other small businesses can
also doing that
sell things like jams and whatever else. So it's it's maybe these things carry over later. That there's
and then the businesses hopefully have more breadth.
Exactly. So I think
term.
So
kind of like what you're doing as well,
exactly.
Right?
Where it's
doing more commissions and
so it's like doing commissions, doing corporate work,
scarves,
and also my web shop making scarves and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So diversifying, because hopefully it only helps later to have these sort of, I managed to take time to work on them, which I couldn't do before because of my full-time job. So now it's nurturing those things a little bit might lead to some blossoming later.
Yes.
We shall hope. So actually, I've normally been drinking this one quite cold.
So this is from Noita, and is the winery's name, right? And what's the name of the wine?
So the name of the wine is
Noveau.
Okay. Already dripped all over that one. So Noveau, of course, being a sort of, this came out around the time that Beaujolais Nouveau would come out, so it was sort of their play on a Nouveau.
Yeah.
And then when I was asked to do the label, Chris really wanted to have the word separated into 2, and of course veau in French means like a baby cow. So I was like, let's not fight it, let's put some baby cows dancing in the style of Matisse on the front.
Nice.
So we have some cows having a good time. So Noita is...
cows having a good time.
Cows having a good time. Udders flying left, right, and center. So Noita is actually they're based in Finland. So they don't grow their own grapes. They're an urban winery that imports grapes from Burgenland, Austria. And so this one is Blaufränkisch, if I remember rightly. Oh, and there's a bit of Pinot Gris and Zweigelt.
It's a carbonic maceration of the 3 grapes.
Yeah. To give it that sort of...
I mean, the Gris obviously softens it out a bit, giving it that fruit, which is quite nice, because I think otherwise it can be quite crunchy.
Crunchy, yeah. But I drank a lot of this, and I was drinking it quite cold, actually, just like a...
Do you know, are they working with the same growers every year? Is this the first vintage?
That's what I couldn't find. I think the Nouveau, this one, because this was a commission for more natural wine. I mean, no, they did a 2019 Nouveau that had the egg sort of label on it. So this one was, more natural labeled it. I don't know if they did their own. They had a second one. But as far as I know, they've been around for a couple of years now, a few years. I don't know if they always buy. That's the one thing that wasn't clear from the website, if it's always the same growers or if it's like an association of growers that they buy from Burgenland. But this one is the 2020 vintage. So everything is hand-picked and organic from within the EU. But it said that nearly everything is from Burgenland. And then they also, what I really like about them is because they're an urban winery, so they have the grapes there. I mean, they're not in an urban setting, they're in a village in Finland. But it's the same idea. But what's cool is once they're done with the grapes, after pressing, they send them to a local distillery, which then makes alcohol out of it, and then they get sent back what's left, and they make a moonshine out of that.
Okay.
And then they also have a few apples. They have 2 apple ciders that get made in Quevery. So after the wine's taken out, then they put the cider in to impart some wine flavors. So they're really So the grapes go through a triple process. They get used really till there's nothing left. Which I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's for me, it's quite good to hear that, because obviously with a project like this, it's kind of
right, to ship something in. This was
yeah.
sort of
I mean,
my
you know,
idea.
like how making natural. This is also
Right,
something
totally.
I think about a lot with natural wine. Is like it doesn't make sense when they're shipping barrels or vessels from all of these other parts of the world, and the bottles and the corks and everything else. So,
but they're just bringing grapes. Everything else they do themselves. So basically, like they bring the grapes over. But maybe for cold climate places, it makes sense, because then you sell bottle and you're not shipping large amounts of bottles. You're just shipping grapes. And then the like heavy work of shipping bottles maybe is easier if then the distribution point is local.
Yes.
So I think that's the thing. There's always, because I thought the same yesterday. I was like, it's kind of an interesting concept to then like move grapes from one place to another.
It'd be interesting to know how much of this wine, like, because this obviously shipped here, like, are they selling? Do you know? Like, it'd be interesting to know where they sell to.
Yeah, right.
But I think the fact that they're making as much use out of those grapes is like a good decision.
Yeah, and I think there are already like quite a few interesting, even like the other guys that make cider, the fruit stereo guys, you know, where they take like apples that would ordinarily have been thrown away by people to then make ciders. So I think like the Scandies have they like to be clever about things. So I feel like, I'm sure there must have been a balance of thinking if it's worth it to do this. Yeah, because I thought the same. I was interested in it.
And you've tried this before. This is my first time of trying it. Sorry, I thought he was about to do a headstand there. How he went down. He's so long. I thought his back hips were gonna take him over. But sorry, that was the dog stepping off the couch and almost doing a cartwheel.
Yeah.
But it's a nice wine though. It's nice. There's still some crunchiness. There's some nice fruit. I like that. There's this sort of herbaceous note too. There's some.
It's quite smooth and it was definitely like, because I wasn't drinking a lot during lockdown, so it definitely wasn't drinking a lot of reds. But this one, even a little chillier than we're having it right now, for me was really an easy.
I like it. Yeah. Do you know how much it costs?
I think it's not that expensive either, actually.
Okay.
To look it up. Yeah, so this one was made from More Natural Wine, so they sell it on their website. And I've done t-shirts and stuff for them in the past. This one's been really nice also with some of these small companies that I work with, that there's also this mind to like also have local artists or small artists do things. Oh, hi. Oh, and he's back. You at least have to like show yourself. So
I was getting a bit distracted then because of Ludi couldn't settle, so that's why I put the bed in between, because I thought it might help.
You've got like eye boogers all over your face.
For those that are Gwen, that's gross.
He has to smell more.
That is so gross. So for anybody, did he just eat it?
No.
Okay.
I wiped it on.
Oh God. So
it's better than him eating it. I used to have an ex's dog used to eat his own boogers. This one was just a little eye goop.
So for everybody who's on audio, which is most of our listeners, probably wondering what the hell is going on. So Gwen just picked up her dog Ludwig and taken his eye.
He had a bit of an eye
dust.
Yeah.
Sleepy dust out of the eyes, and then she put it on her finger in front of his mouth. And I thought he was about to eat it, but she was smelling it. Which is also weird.
Yeah, but what can I say? He's a scent hound. He was like, will not, if you don't let him smell whatever you've removed from him, he gets really upset. He wants to know. I mean, he's a clever dog. He wants to see if there's an eye infection. Yeah. You're a clever boy. Yeah.
Anyway, so back to the wine, away from the eye boogers.
Yes, and I'm actually really excited I want to try their moonshine. It's a great pomace moonshine.
Sounds good.
It's like a 43%.
So it's like a grappa.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Because I guess, I thought it was whiskey, but it's actually not a whiskey. It's it gets given to a beer. Look at my notes.
Well, I guess as most breweries have a still as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's distilled in a brewery.
So I think what it is that they make wine, then it goes to a beer place, I think, next, and then it gets made into, it's a bit confusing. Nice. Just have to Google it, Google Noita. It's all on their website.
Noita.
I've printed out the website basically.
It's a catchy name, isn't it? Noita.
Yeah, it looks. I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
But it looks cool.
I love the packaging. It looks great, Gwen. Are you happy with the label?
Yeah, totally. Also, because I think they have a really strong brand identity anyway, which is very like pop, which totally I loved that I got to do something for them because their labels are also always really cool, and they have very eye-catching, bright color, big bold shapes. So yeah, really fun.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So that's lockdown.
That's lockdown.
So that's lockdown.
Eyeballs. Wine labels.
Yeah.
Have you got any more wine labels coming up?
Maybe nothing I can talk about yet, but I do have a perfume label that's coming out with a German brand called Evora, and I did some other illustrations for them earlier in the year. They're launching an equality line, so this perfume will be unisex.
Okay.
And great fun.
It's funny, isn't it so funny that perfumes anyway are divided out, like these are male perfumes, these are female?
Which I find really
because
strange.
actually, all the perfumes that I buy,
I always buy unisex for men. Yeah, me too.
I love woody scents, and
Almost
apparently
really
only
right
men.
now.
Yeah, very nice. It's nice. What is that?
It's a company
I
called.
know you were like,
It's a good one.
the eyebrows are high.
It's a company called something des fleurs, Régime des fleurs, and this one's called Fauna. I'm going to send you the link because the perfumes are wild. I don't own a bottle because it retails for like $700, but
You just got your samples on that website subscription.
Lucky
that you
Scent.
did, right? Lucky
Yeah.
Scent, yeah.
So I have this sample. I have a huge box of little samples from perfumes I will never afford, but this one may go on the bucket list because when it's first sprayed, it's really, you got to read them. They're like psychedelic. When you read the descriptions, like I want to meet this perfume maker.
Where are they made? They're from France. Maybe we
I'm
should
not
go
sure.
to visit some perfumeries.
I went to some in Grasse a few years back when I
Would you
did
to go
it.
there?
It's a weird city.
I mean,
It wasn't that nice.
we've all seen the film. Have you seen that film?
No.
Perfume?
Oh, that one. Yeah. I mean, you got me the book, and I read the book years ago.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think I ever saw the film. But Grasse, when we went, actually, I went with my Australian ex, and we had a hotel booked in the centre, and there were just so many drug addicts everywhere. We actually cancelled our booking, lost the money, and found ourselves a little auberge outside in the countryside that was 1,000 times better.
So romantic.
Yeah, it was really nice. And then you go to that little, it's like the best example of a feudal village that's still in existence in Europe at the top of this hill, and they have a restaurant called the something nest, maybe the Eagle's Nest or something, and it overlooks, it's like a 2-point-whatever kilometer drop cliff face. The terrace is right on the edge of this cliff. You can see Monaco, like from it's amazing.
Sounds pretty great.
So I made a perfume actually.
I've done that before. It's
Might
bloody
sound
difficult
like,
actually.
It's harder than it looks.
Yeah, I mean, I tried it. I did a perfume masterclass with Runa at Florist
lovely.
in London.
Nice.
Oh my god, you
I
think
love
you
Florist,
know how to do it, and then you smell it at the end,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh,
No.
there's a reason
Yeah.
why people specialise in this and are paid to do this.
Florist is actually really interesting because they're a company that still does a lot of unisex scents, and they've been doing unisex scents since like 1870.
Yeah, they're over 300 years old.
Yeah, because I had one of their samples. I gave it as a gift. Wish I'd kept it because it's now discontinued. But they made a perfume called Malmaison after the carnation, which was Oscar Wilde's favorite scent to wear. I love it so because I love the smell of carnations. You know, I have a thing for these, like, keep talking about it.
Funeral flowers.
Daffodils, bluebells,
Yes.
like carnations. Like there's something about that, like green, fresh, powdery smell that's like so delicious. Yes. But they discontinued it. So if anyone has a bottle kicking around,
send it my way.
yeah, or Florist, please resume production.
Yes.
I know nobody knows what a carnation even smells like anymore.
I don't actually.
Think of
I know what a daffodil smells like, of course, but
Yeah.
not a carnation.
I actually just found the perfect on my bucket list. I was searching for a. This is part of like the dreams of lockdown, where I was like, I want to buy a daffodil perfume, so I'm going to spend a week researching it so that I know what to buy when I have money again.
Some people have English gardens. I just have them in scents.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
That's quite a good idea, though,
So
isn't it?
Tom Ford makes a really delightful one that I'm excited to have a whiff at. Jonquille de nuit, night daffodil.
That's nice. That's a very nice name, actually.
Yeah. He makes that great cologne line that's actually all unisex.
Yes.
Which I like. Yeah. It's very cool. Ludwig is like totally snuggled up to Emily like I don't exist. Next time I'll lean the camera down so everyone can see him. And my winter boots.
Yes.
So.
And your leggings, which you're not wearing anymore.
No, I'm actually wearing actual trousers right now. For once.
It looks like we're dressed, but actually we've got pyjama bottoms and slippers on.
Wouldn't be far off. I'm wearing Sorels. So, I guess that's it for this
catch
one.
up.
Yeah.
And we'll be back, and our next episode will be on the Loire.
Yes.
So a selection of wines from the Loire.
Yeah. Good springtime topic, I think.
Yeah. In the meantime, we'll pop up every now and again on Instagram Live, and
there'll be Emily's series, and maybe I come up with my own.
Yes. Should. Artwork.
Yeah.
The artwork series.
Or just like interview tattooers that like wine.
Yes.
Could be fun.
Should.
So, I guess you can find us online on Twitter at. Do we remember what it is?
I know! At juice.podcast.
That's the Instagram.
Is Instagram.
Juice.podcast.
And I think
Instagram.
it's juice
Underscore
podcast on Twitter.
That's it.
And that's it really. And then you can find me and Gwen individually.
Yes.
At Gwen Douglas. Not Gwen Douglas underscore.
And Gwen with a U.
Not a W. And you'll find me on Vina Lupa on Instagram, on all of the
Platforms.
Yes, as well.
Super.
So we'll see you in 3 weeks. We'll be back with wine geekery and other things. I'm like really out of practice.
That's why it's good we had just like a chit chat one for a
Yes.
beginning one.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Oh,
Cheers.
really.